So the Supreme Court is staring at this massive legal knot in the Mahira Homes case. And today, we're going to break down the really clever and kind of unusual strategy they're using to try and untangle it all. Let's dive right in.
I mean, think about it. What does a court actually do when a case is just so complicated, with so many different people and so many different problems, that it becomes this giant tangled mess? That's really the core question we're unpacking today. All right, so let's set the stage here. We're looking at what is, for all intents and purposes, a massive legal puzzle. Yeah, this is not your typical two-sided fight. You've got the home buyers, who are obviously central to this. You've got the builder, Mahira Homes. And then you have various government authorities all mixed up in it. It's so interconnected that the Supreme Court basically raised its hands and said, you know what? We need some outside help to see the whole picture clearly. And that brings us to the court's big idea, their solution for navigating all this chaos. They decided to bring in a neutral expert. The official term for this is Amicus Curiae. Now, I know it's a Latin phrase, but all it really means is friend of the court. This person isn't a judge, they don't work for the home buyers or the builder, they're just a totally impartial expert whose only job is to help the judges understand everything without bias. And let's be super clear on this, because it's easy to get wrong. This expert is not some kind of investigative committee, and they are definitely not another judge who's going to decide the case. Their role is simply to help, to clarify, to assist. That's it. So who did the court pick for this massive job? A real heavy hitter, Mr. Rajiv Jain. I mean, just look at these credentials. This is the former director of India's Intelligence Bureau and a former member of the National Human Rights Commission. This choice tells you everything you need to know about how much the court trusts his judgment and experience.
Okay, so we know who he is, but what's he actually been asked to do? What is this specific mission for this friend of the court?
The court laid out a really clear 4-step mission. Step 1, he has to dive into every single piece of paper related to this case. Step 2, he's got to really get his head around every single side's arguments. Step 3 is the hard part. He has to take all of that complexity and boil it down to the core facts and legal issues. And then the final and most important step is to give the judges his completely independent, totally neutral perspective. Now, this level of expertise doesn't come cheap. We're talking 5 lakh rupees a month, plus extra for any staff he needs. But here's the interesting part. Who's footing the bill? It's not the court. The Supreme Court has ordered the builder, Mahira Homes, to pay for this independent assistance. And to make sure he can actually do his job, the court has given Mr. Jain some serious authority. The court's own registry has to give him everything. The lawyers for every single party involved have to hand over their complete files. The message from the court is crystal clear. Nothing can be hidden. Everyone has to cooperate.
And just when you thought this whole thing couldn't get any more complicated, well, it does. The court also decided to add a couple of new faces to the proceedings. First up, the Enforcement Directorate, the ED, is now officially part of the case. Now, that is a huge development. It strongly suggests that there might be a financial investigation angle here, something to do with the money. And second, the original landowners who had deals with the builder are also being brought in. The court clearly thinks their agreements are crucial to figuring out the whole story. So we've got our trusted expert, we've got new players in the courtroom. The court has basically set the chessboard. So what happens now? Well, everyone is officially on the clock. The court has put everybody on a strict deadline. The NBCC and those new landowners have 4 weeks to get their replies in. The Enforcement Directorate, the ED, has until January 13th, 2026 to file its response. And that date, January 13th, is the next big day in court, when all this new, organized information should be ready.
You know, this quote just sums up the entire strategy perfectly. It's all about bringing in an expert, getting all the right people and all the facts in one place, and setting a clear timeline. The goal, as they say, is to achieve informed decision-making. No rushing this one. Which, of course, brings us right back to where we started. We began with a massive, tangled legal mess. Now the Supreme Court has a plan and an expert guide. So the final question really is, with this friend of the court helping to show them the way, can the judges finally untangle this incredibly complex knot? I guess we'll all be watching in January to find out.